Good evening and warm welcome to the North Bank Summit. 4 days on, the Scouts are still crying, the celebration place is still out in force, and we are fucking well loving it. Just going to say good evening to my rightful guest first and foremost. So this obviously get introducing to him you all. Bray, good evening, mate. How are you? Last time I see you, mate, you was 3 rows in front of me. You was having a good time as it goes. You was having a very good time.
Yeah, I think we're just getting the atmosphere going, weren't we? We're just cooking, weren't we? I think brilliant. It was brilliant. Jumping around. Saw Karl as well in front of me. 2 rows below me directly. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I have to admit, block 8 was proper sexy on Sunday night, weren't
it? Yeah, really good atmosphere, really good.
It was looking good. It was looking good, and it was hearing good. Good evening to Mr. Barron himself. How you doing, mate? Yeah. What a night on Saturday.
It's been a while. I haven't been on I can't even remember last time I came on, to be fair. But yeah, no, the Emirates was very good on Sunday.
Yeah, it was very good, and I think the Gooner, even though he wanted an earlier show, he weren't going to miss out of you being on.
How could I?
Exactly. He's staying up late. He's staying up late for you, mate. He's staying up late.
Well worth it.
One man who sadly weren't there on Sunday. Jonezy. But obviously he's watching it on TV. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. I was watching at home. I was making sure the neighbours knew I was home watching it as well. They always know when I'm watching football at home. But yeah, it was wicked. You guys were immense. Like, big props here. The stadium was absolutely rocking, absolutely crazy. But yeah, it was good. Good day all round.
Yeah, definitely. And good evening to Mr. Brooks himself. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, still buzzing. Always lovely to put those Scousers back in the little box. So yeah, happy days.
I bet the missus was loving you on Sunday evening, weren't she?
Yeah, she went in the other room.
Well, at least we won. That's the main thing.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, obviously, Sunday we had the league leaders, Liverpool Football Club, at the Emirates for a 4:30 kickoff. It was basically a must-win game for Arsenal, and if we didn't win the game, if we had lost the game, I think we'd pretty much been self-assured to be probably out the title race. But we come good. And obviously won the game 3-1. So what we're going to do first and foremost, we're going to get the obviously team up, and we're kind of discuss the team. So going to go to you, Bray, first and foremost. I'll get the team up as it is now. Obviously the big surprise on coming out on Sunday lunchtime was that Jesus was out injured. Kai Havertz got the nod to play up front, and Jorginho got brought in into playing midfield in place of Emil Smith-Rowe, who performed pretty well at Nottingham Forest. What was your kind of thoughts when you see the lineup?
I thought it was. I think it was more sure. I think that's what kind of I felt about it, where there was lots of, or we've certainly had a disrupted start to the day, or like from Saturday on. Obviously, the news with like Partey, or Friday, wasn't it, when it broke? Partey was not going to be playing. You then had the rumours on Saturday morning with Jesus. Yeah, the last thing I think we would have wanted is if Smith-Rowe maybe have started instead of Jorginho, and then suddenly he's either pulled up or does something or whatever, and you're suddenly thinking it's just another thing that's kind of gone against us. But it proves Jorginho was a really good pick. I think he's taken a lot of flack, Arteta, I think, with some of the teams and the selections that he's put in. But yeah, I think with what we actually had there, I think it was a good choice. Yeah.
And just going over to you, Karl, because obviously I was sitting in the old boozer with you at the time when the team come out. Any surprises for you? I think we had a bit of a discussion in the pub, didn't we, around Jorginho starting, and probably would be a good idea in terms of this game.
Yeah, no, we did, didn't we? I thought obviously, Smith Rowe did play well in the game before, but sometimes you need a cool head in the midfield in a game like that, just to take this thing out of it sometimes. And I don't think obviously Smith Rowe, that's not his game. Whereas Jorginho, that's kind of how he's made his career, dictating play. And it was the right decision, obviously, to play him. As it turned out, he put in a man of the match performance. He was outstanding. I thought alongside, I think the two Chelsea boys, Havertz was outstanding as well, occupying those two centre halves. So maybe Jesus being out was a little bit of a blessing for us as well, with Havertz coming in.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, because I think obviously he like with the two big centre backs, he kind of pulled them out, didn't he? And with him pulling them out and having that physical kind of physique, it kind of supported us in terms of what we needed to do in that game.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was. I'm just going over to you, Jonesy. In terms of that kind of, in terms of lineup, anything additional or surprises in terms of for yourself, or did you kind of expect that lineup?
I mean, yeah, when I heard the news, Jesus was out, you kind of, I didn't want Eddie. I was glad to see Havertz starting. He did well in the FA Cup game. Let's not forget, even though he didn't bag the chances he had, he still played very well in that game. And then to see Jorginho in there was great, because I've been asking that for a while. He's rolled back the years there. He looked like the player, that's won championships with Italy and Chelsea. If he can play like that, I'll keep him in there for the rest of the season, because I don't think we're going to see old Father Christmas for again this season. So, and then bin him off in the summer. But I'll just keep Jorginho in there, keep their team the same. Obviously, I think Jesus will come back into the squad because he's Jesus, and Arteta seems to like him a lot. So, and he does bring that other dimension of play to bring in the wingers a bit more. So, but it just goes to show you there is a plan B there. If we sometimes need to do it at home, go a bit more defensive with Jorginho in there as well, and Havertz as a target man, then we should do it. It worked really well.
And for you, Mr. Brooks, obviously Declan Rice pushing over more into the kind of 8 role. Was you? Is that where you kind of see him moving forwards? Obviously, potentially, I know he's not back, but with Thomas Partey potentially going to be back, and obviously Jorginho playing like that, would you kind of keep him out there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's very versatile. I think Declan Rice proved he could play anywhere in the midfield. There'll be mustard. And you said someone called Thomas Partey. Who's that?
Yeah, who is that?
Yeah, you just stick him in a bus with Jesus and fuck them both off. But Jorginho again, he was superb. I mean, if he carries on playing like that, we don't really need Partey, to be honest. I mean, you can't really drop him after that game. I would have thought he'd play more or less the same team against West Ham, really. I mean, Jesus might come in, but I don't see why I would change a winning team.
No, and it was, to be fair, what I thought in terms of obviously the whole 90 minutes performance, I thought very solid first 45, obviously with that massive mistake in the last seconds of the first half. But after the first 10 minutes of the second half, where Liverpool did fly out of the traps, I thought it was quite an assured performance from the boys. And I think one thing that has kind of stood out to me over the last couple of years is that we do turn up for the big games at home, and we've done that quite kind of superbly now over the last 2 seasons. And I'm kind of trusting us now when we got a big game. I was quite confident, if I'm being totally honest with you, Sunday, that we'd get the 3 points. But yeah, I think it's really positive in terms of obviously the performance they put out against such a good team. And we have to be honest with Liverpool. I know we are enjoying the win over them, but apart from the Spurs defeat, which has never happened for them either, they're pretty much unbeaten this season in the Premier League. So it's a big performance from the boys, and onwards and upwards, definitely. Go back over to you, Bray. In terms of the first half, obviously, as I said, it was very comprehensive. I thought the first half performance. I wouldn't say we flew out the traps, but we was definitely the much stronger team. And you could tell it was only a matter of time before, obviously, we scored the first goal.
Yeah, I just think again it was just controlled, wasn't it? You played within ourselves. We dictated the play. We were getting the possession, and we were getting the balls in the right areas to kind of move the ball up to Havertz. He was occupying them, and this is what we're talking about, kind of where we were talking about being slow in our play, the linking it up, and even just having the ball going over to him a little bit quicker meant that we were getting in those kind of areas where we could obviously make make proper kind of like inroads into Liverpool. Liverpool were pressing all the time, and we were getting through them. But then we were using that kind of like longer ball to kind of just get over that kind of press. Certainly in that second half. But those two players that come in, when you talk about Havertz and you talk about Jorginho, I think that they're probably one of the two best performances. When you actually question, you actually look at it in the amount of work that Havertz was doing, and he's much maligned. People still can't get over the Chelsea kind of thing, and he'll be always that one that will be the scapegoat. But he put in an unbelievable shift, and he really ruffled him up. And Van Dijk, just again, you got to say fair play to it. And Arteta spot on with the game plan.
And obviously going over to Cole, like an interesting point you made there, Bray, in terms of obviously the two Chelsea boys. Obviously Jorginho, firstly, Cole, so much experience, has won the top trophies in the game, and then you got Havertz, who's scored the winning goal in a Champions League final. They've had their critics, haven't they, over the last 6-12 months? But as Bray said, they turn up Sunday and show what they are capable of doing.
Yeah, as I said, they're big game players, aren't they? Like Havertz has scored Champions League final. Jorginho's been up for the Ballon d'Or. It's not a coincidence that they'll turn up for the big games. Just everything about the game, everything about our tactics just worked really. Havertz, just completely really controlled those two centre backs. He could quite easily have gone with Nketiah up front on Sunday, and we pretty much would have got the same as what Jesus would have offered us. But he went different. He went with a bit of height, a bit of physicality up there to occupy him, and he got Canate sent off, and they've conceded the same amount of goals as us, I believe. So to really occupy those two centre halves, and that allowed, I think, Saka and Martinelli to probably have their two best games this season as well. I thought Martinelli, I've been a massive critic of him this season. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was outstanding. Fair play to him. But I think everyone just put in a shift, didn't they? Which is great to see.
Yeah, just going to Stu, Jonesy, in terms of Havertz, obviously he's only started up front against Manchester City and Liverpool, which is quite surprisingly, really. So, do we give him further opportunities up there now, like West Ham Sunday? We know what they're all about. They can make things quite physical at times as well. I think he'll be ideal on Sunday in certain situations. Would you start him again Sunday, even if Jesus is back fit?
Yeah,
Jesus played pretty well against Forest, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But you got to, he's done well the last game, and he should be deserved to start again. I don't think Jesus should come automatically straight back in, but he gives us a different option. It's something that we haven't got. Since the likes of Giroud, who was sitting in the stands coincidentally. We haven't had that big guy up front probably since him. We seem to not cross it though to him when he's in the box, because he's never in the box. But yeah, if he could just work those runs a bit more and play as a centre forward, I reckon he can cause a lot of problems to loads of defenders in this Premier League. He's strong. He can finish when he's in the box. He's just got to get that killer instinct. I think we're starting to see it now. He's starting to get into the way of Arsenal playing and the way they're linking up with the boys on the wings. Sometimes he just lacks a little bit of speed, and that's all I need to see a bit more from him. Just a bit more, faster decision making and stuff like that. But it'll come, and I've got no doubts for that. He's a good player. I don't think he would have signed him if he didn't think he was, fit for this Arsenal team and he could do a job.
And obviously, John, we've got to give props. I know we had a bit of a calamity moment, obviously in injury time in the first half, but the back four had a pretty solid game apart from that. I feel that we're getting close to potentially a return to training from Timber. We could go into the back end of the season with potentially our strongest back four coming out of March.
Yeah, that's good. And Tommy Yasu's back now as well. He could be back for West Ham. No players coming back at the right time. Ben White, that rest, when they went to Dubai, he's come back. He looks completely refreshed and got over his little looks, and he looks much more on it and with it. And he played really well Sunday. He did a couple of nice bits of skill as well. Looks more, with it. Yeah, that goal was a bit disappointing. just either clear the ball or Raya came out. One of them made a decision, but luckily it didn't cost us. And Liverpool obviously wanted to join in the fun and do that themselves. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see when Timber comes back, who drops out. Yeah, it's good to have squad depth. That's what we need to the end of the season. That's what cost us last year. So it's just all about keeping everyone fit in it.
Yeah, because pretty much the centre backs is the key, in my opinion, again
definitely.
this year, isn't it?
Definitely.
If we can keep these two guys fit, then I think we've got a good chance in terms of firstly competing for the top, take the title to the later stages again. But also, I think we've got a really good chance in the Champions League to put a statement in. And when I start looking at other teams and I start sitting there thinking, well, wait a minute, we've taken 4 points off Liverpool. We've gone to Anfield and drew. We've beaten them at home 3-1. We beaten Man City at home 1-0. You wouldn't bet against us going far, would you?
No, we're going to win it. You heard it here first. No, so many people at work keep randomly coming up to me and go, I really fancy you in this league. I said, that's lovely. Let's get there first. But you never know, do you? It's Wembley, Saka winner. You can see it in the dream. I mean, let's get past Porto first because we don't want to follow them once. But, we've got a good chance. We have. Let's be positive about these things. Apart from Man City and Liverpool. Well, Liverpool aren't even in it. What am I talking about? That's a shame, isn't it? But, Man City, the only team that really, really scares you. I mean, Real Madrid are a good side, but the 2 games, they're beatable unless you play them in the final. But, why not? Why not?
Bray, in terms of the title race, can you see us taking Man City and Liverpool the whole way?
Again, it's that keeping everyone fit, isn't it? It's one of those when you look at it and you still think that I still think we're personally still about 6 players away from being at that level of competitiveness with like Man City. And
6.
I think the level. I think we'll look at our bench, and I still think that there's no real drop off when City bring on those players, and they can rotate and they can do it, and they can play in various positions. They've got it all over. And this is where I say that that's where we can't do it, and in such fine margins as well. Look at even last season, it only took two games that went the wrong way in that whole season. Small margins, and that's the key. What's that when you look at it and you suddenly think, is that 2 free transfer windows? 4 transfer windows to maybe get 6 players in that would be better, but still be there in a couple of years or whatever. And because obviously every signing comes with someone that probably gets cast away again because he hasn't quite made it. So yeah, I don't know. Everyone gets stronger every year, but are we in a race? Yes. Can we do it?
Yes.
I bloody hope so.
That's a good answer.
You look at it and you just think, if we do keep everyone fit, and as I say, there's going to be big expectations on Timber coming back, and if he hits the ground running as well, and he's another bow or another arrow in the in our little the pack that we can just suddenly just chuck out and go for it. And then if we could even just get Partey back for 2-3 games, whatever, I'm sure at some point he'll be of assistance. But yeah, at the minute, it's just a nightmare. But we're doing well for not having 2 of our 3 midfielders from last season.
I think that's a key point, and I'm going to go to Karl with it. Like, if we can get, and I'm saying if we can get the likes of Timber back and playing, and if we can get Partey somehow fit, because we know what a big player he can be to this team, and we know the influence and the impact that he'll have on the style of player of this team, and can get them 2 fit and stay clear of injuries, there's a very good chance at the back end of the season that we're going to have a really enjoyable end to the season. Not saying we're going to win anything, but we're going to go very, very close.
Yeah, I mean, you need all your big players, don't you? And Partey is one of our our key players last year. He just proved it, really. He was one of our standout players. He just provides something different in that CDM role where he can kind of break the lines with his passing. And I love Rice, but that's one part of his game that Partey's got over him, really, is that ability to break those lines into Odegaard, and then we're on the attack. We turn them round. Whereas a few times this year, it's a lot of sideways and backwards, and we haven't really penetrated those lines as much as what we like. But yeah, Timber coming back as well. We saw pre-season, and he was brilliant on that left back role. And I think him being injured stumped our plans a little bit, or stumped Arteta's plans. I think he would have been the starter over Zinchenko because he offers exactly the same, but with a bit more defensive stability. So obviously that's going to help us massively. We just got to keep that back five that we've got at the moment. They've just gelled. Raya looks more settled now, and you can see why Arteta has brought him in. But yeah, I think we're probably more geared up at the moment, and it's probably going to sound mad, but to win the Champions League more than the Premier League, just because of the teams are more likely to come at us. Whereas all the other teams, when they come to the Emirates, they try and hold that low block, and we struggle to break them down. Same when we go away from home. So it's going to be a tough one. Obviously, City can put a run together just like that, can't they? They do it every year, so it's going to be an uphill battle. But yeah, we're in the race. It might benefit us a bit more this year that we're not top. So we're actually chasing, and we're not kind of meant to win it.
Yeah. Obviously, just going to say some good evenings in the chat. So good evenings, Mike Hertz. Good evening, Stefan. How you doing, mate? Good evening to Russ Morgan as well. And good evening to anyone else who's in the chat. I'm just going to go over to you, Jonesy, on this one because it's a good point. Obviously, Mike's obviously a bit worried about the expectations. Obviously, our supporters may have with Timber. Yeah. Obviously, returning with the high expectations. We knew what he kind of showed in pre-season and in the first game and a half in terms of Charity Shield and the Forest game. In my opinion, I think because we got quite good cover, even around Timber, that we can kind of ease him back in as such, and maybe just kind of utilise him in the big games and give him that rest still in other games.
Yeah, that's what you want, because you hear about it all the time when players come back from a long injury, they pick up other little niggles like strains and overstretching and stuff like that. So he's got to be eased in, and it's good that, like you say, we got the cover. He doesn't need to come straight back in and he's going to play on Sunday or in the Champions League start straight away. We can maybe give him a half, give him 60 minutes, and then we've got adequate cover to come on. Like Tomiyasu, even Kivior, who got a shout out. He was great on Sunday as well. I think he was overlooked a bit, but he did a great job when he come on. But yeah, we've got the cover now, so we can ease him back in. The last thing we want is him to come back in and we just overplay him straight away and he's out again. Do you know what I mean? It'd be terrible for the lad. You just want him to ease him back in and have a nice end to the season with us.
It's quite interesting, isn't it, John? In the January window, everyone was at the start of the window. Everyone was saying now we need a left back. Now we're looking with Timber coming back. We'll have Timber, Kawar, and Zinchenko alongside Tomiyasu.
Yeah, no, it's funny how it works out. Isn't it really? Yeah. No one expected Timber to come back so soon, and that's obviously a testament to his character, his body, and I suppose the Arsenal medical team. How well they've done with him.
Stem cell research.
There you go, go on. That's compare to what Palace had done to Elise and see what we've done with Timber, and it's like chalk and cheese. But it's all going back to Zinchenko as well. Obviously, everyone the defenders, there's no reason why Arteta might stick him in midfield. Because he plays there for Ukraine. That's another option. So, even if Partey is still injured, Zinchenko can possibly come in and fill that role as well. And he don't have to worry about defending. So he might excel even more.
Brave, we'll come back over to you and try and go back into the game a little bit. Obviously, at 2-1, 2-1 up, Liverpool got a red card in the 87th minute, I believe. Obviously, it eased the nerves a little bit, but we kind of wrapped it up in style with the Trossard winner. We haven't this is a player who we haven't really spoke about at present in terms of kind of options, but Trossard's a big option for us, isn't he? And he's another option that's played up front against Crystal Palace in the last few games, scored 2 goals in his last 3 games, barring not this, if we're being frankly honest, he only really come on at injury time against Forest. It would be really good to get him back into that kind of form that we see at the start of his career at Arsenal. Can we get him back to that kind of level?
I think when you're looking at his contributions, he's still getting in goals. He's still picking up those crucial kind of like the parts of the game. And if he's not doing that, then that's when you worry. I think when he's getting the chance and when he's got the options to kind of take a shot or have a chance on goal, he'll take it. I think he's still got it and he's sharp. But I think the key is that he has to keep them ticking over, and that means that it's either going to be Martinelli kind of coming off the bench or it'll be Trossard. And if he kind of mixes that up a little bit, then great, because it means there's going to be 2 fresher players at that position, and they're all going to be hungry. They're all going to be vying for it, and that's what we've talked about for so long. Just adding competition and creating that hunger. Because you keep someone out the squad, then or the team, you are going to get that hunger, and that works both ways. And they're going to push themselves. Of course, they're going to be fighting against each other, because that's the competitive spirit of being professionals. You know what I mean? You want to be the main man, but you know that there's only one place. So
and you have to look at Martinelli's reaction when he come off on Sunday. He had the right hand. You know what I mean? So,
show me anyone that hates or likes coming.
Well, that's you. That's good though. That's it.
That's it. It's brilliant. It's good to
fires him up for the next game.
Yeah, and I think it's really good, and I think he does still look really sharp.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think obviously it is good to have them kind of options. And you can also play Jesus out on the left if you really want to as well. So yet again, that left-hand side is looking much, much stronger going into the back end of the season. Carl, are you a Trossard fan? Obviously, that impacts.
Apparently, Trossard's a Carl fan.
No, well, absolutely. Are you a big Trossard fan? Would you have him in the team? Would you rotate him in the team throughout now to the end of the season?
I like Trossard. I think he's a very tidy player, and I think it was a very, very sensible signing when we got him. My issue with him is it does seem sometimes a little bit inconsistent. I think him and Martinelli on that side have been quite inconsistent this year when they've started games. If either of them have come off the bench, they seem to have affected it more, which obviously brings the concern. You want all your players on it from the first whistle, really, not coming off the bench and affecting. Ideally, that's a great thing to have. But yeah, if they can find some form from the start, great. Yeah, that left side it offers something different, because I think Trossard, his feet is, he's got tidy feet, quick, tight control, whereas Martinelli's a lot more, he'll try and get in behind, they'll try and run at defenders a little bit more. So there's a nice balance out there in between the two and what they bring to the side. But yeah, no, I mean, we could have got Mudryk, couldn't we, for 90 million, but we got Trossard for 25. So, and the impact he's had has been very good. So yeah, I'm happy to have him, definitely.
And one man, Jonezy, who didn't get on Sunday, Emil Smith-Rowe, obviously had a good game at Forest. He's quite unlucky, really, when you think about it, because he had that pretty decent game at Forest, but after this Liverpool game now, you'd pretty much expect the team to be pretty much the same going into West Ham.
Yeah, it's quite unlucky. But then again, I personally think he's just trying to ease him still into the squad. He was out for a long time before playing for us, so you never know. With Arteta, we could see him start on Sunday, so you never know what he's going to do sometimes. But yeah, he's very unlucky at the moment that squad done so well on Sunday that they're more than likely going to keep their places for West Ham. So, but yeah, Smith-Rowe, he's just he's like the people's player, isn't he? At the Emirates, everyone wants to see him do so well because he's one of the Haaland boys. So I hope we get a place for him, and I hope he stays in the summer. I don't like to see him go because he's another option from the bench. Maybe we could use him to give Odegaard a rest sometimes, even though Odegaard's playing so bloody well at the moment. It's just difficult where you get these players in now.
And one other man that a lot of people are forgetting, John, to come back in to the squad, Fabio Vieira.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about him.
Not a great fan. Not a great fan.
I don't see the point of him, to be honest. It does just come on and piss me off and do a stupid little back heel. So I can live without him. I hope he comes back and bites me in the arse and scores a win in the Champions League final. But I won't have a breath.
You'd definitely have him for that winning penalty, though, wouldn't you?
No, I don't know, mate. I just hope I don't get to that. I can't cope with penalties. Me.
I'm gonna bring in these three characters. Well, I think we're gonna have a little discussion on these three because I enjoy a little bit of fun and banter, and I'm gonna let Jonezy kick off on this one.
Okay. Oh, fine. Okay, now.
Right, Jonesy, I'll give you 3 dibs. Which one out of 3 do you want to talk about?
I'll take the one who spits at kids.
Right, go on. right, fire away.
What
Away.
Who could you possibly mean?
Scouse rat. I'd keep it clean because I don't want the channel to get a flag. But yeah, what a piece of shit. He is literally full of crap. You know, he loves to moan about us celebrating, but, you know, you never hear him say a peep when Klopp runs on the pitch when they get a draw against Norwich or a bloody draw against West Brom. His fucking manager pulled a hammy celebrating down the touchline. You didn't hear him say a peep. But as soon as Odegaard pulls out a camera to celebrate with the club photographer, you know, he's all mouth. And this is coming from a guy who spits at kids, like I just said. He's, you know, a kid was driving.
He threw coins at Arsenal.
He threw coins at Arsenal. He don't like us. It's blatant. All 3 of them don't like us.
Very bitter man.
Yeah, he's a very bitter man. Because we beat his team on Sunday, he's digging at Arsenal. He wouldn't have said a word if we had beat City, like we already have. But you know, he wouldn't have said a word if we celebrated like that. But because it was his team, he felt the need to come out and try and be a big man. And now he's putting his picture up as Odegaard and stuff like that. He's just a prick. He's trying to stay relevant.
I remember when we lost to Brentford on the Friday night, 2-0.
I can't say anymore.
Or the Hey Jude.
They were in the crowd celebrating.
Yeah, they were laughing
exactly.
out. First game of the fucking season. I mean, do one.
I'm gonna go with Brooksy next because I do love Brooksy's opinion. So I'm gonna give you the second one. Don't think none of you. There's gonna be a fourth one, so you've all got to cover one. Yeah, there is a fourth, by the way. Brooksy, which one do you want to take on?
Oh, we'll take on Gary Neville. Fucking rat. Fucking piece of shit. Yeah. Fucking dirty arsehole. Yeah. I don't think channel goes down, but he still annoys me. He's on every bloody Sky game. He hates Arsenal. He's part of the reason why we got cheated out of the 49th game, and he kicked the shit out of Reyes that day. He's just a vile little man. Just his beloved Man United are doing shit. Don't get your fucking shitty scarves out. Just do one. Yeah, you know, he must have laughed because he's still backed us to win the league. He just couldn't make it up. He just couldn't make it up. You know, he's one thing is saying, it's great to beat Liverpool. And, you know, they're showing a bit more maturity. And about 5 seconds later, they're over-celebrating. It's immature. Make your bloody mind up.
I have to be pretty honest, right? I found Gary, I listened to the game back and listened to the end of the game, and I found it a bit weird with Gary Neville for someone who hates Liverpool so much. He was close to sounding disappointed that Arsenal had won that game.
Very, very odd. Yeah.
I don't know, because obviously I don't know where you boys are watching it, but I just felt that he just sounded disappointed by it all. It was just a weird thing because
you hate Liverpool. Something in his ear telling him to say something else. It's again bitter.
Who fancy taking Chris Sutton on? Mind you,
I'll go again.
He's just boring, isn't he, Chris Sutton? He's just got no personality whatsoever. He's
very
just another Michael Owen.
Very average player.
Yeah. It's just very average, always in Shearer's shadow, isn't he? Like, it's just...
Yeah, exactly.
Just another bitter man.
Playing against Farmers. Well done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, he's a Celtic player. That says all you need to know, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, boring killjoy.
It's just jealousy.
He has a meal deal, bottle of water, ready sort of crisp with a ham fucking sandwich. I mean, boring.
Right, as you said. So go on.
Sutton's got something against us, hasn't he? He has got something. I don't know if any of you remember.
It's at the Blackburn game when they beat us 3-1.
Yeah,
And
well,
he kicked the
yeah,
ball, didn't he kick the ball out of play or something? We didn't give him a throw.
yeah, 96, 97, and we kind of, yeah, what was it? Yeah, Vieira kicked the ball out. I think we had an injured player down, and basically he carried on, didn't give the ball back, and then Blackburn scored, and we missed out on Champions League on goal difference that season. And you wonder if he got loads of pelters from that, which is always kind of stuck in him, and he's always just trying to dig in and just, I don't know. But it's just little man syndrome, isn't it? It's just they're all just little ones just digging and digging and digging. But there's a fourth one.
There's a fourth one. Who wants to take the fourth one?
Who is the fourth one?
I
think I know who it is. Is it Hairy Hands?
I don't know who it is.
Not Hairy Hands.
Old hairy Hands himself popped back up.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, he stopped, right over his dead wife and shagging young kids, and yeah, there is. Oh, I get in trouble.
Yeah,
disputing facts.
yeah. I always find it quite amazing with old hairy Hands that the guy's a presenter. He's not done nothing in the game apart from present. You haven't played football. You haven't coached football. You haven't probably even kicked a football now, and you're having this massive opinion on a coach. And it's a weird obsession he's had with Arteta over the last, I'd say, 2 to 3 years now, isn't it? Like a very, very, very weird obsession. And definitely with someone who's not really got that much decorum in the background himself, if we're being frankly honest.
He's wrong. He's an absolute wrong from top to bottom. He probably stinks as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just a pure BI.
She's definitely with him for the cash. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, obviously the celebration police were out in force, which was brilliant to see. I absolutely love it. Do you know what? Right, this is when you know that we're kind of. I'm not saying that we're back in terms of we're winning trophies, but teams are now seeing us again, and people are now seeing us again as a threat. And as
everyone's pissed.
As Mikovic has said before, when it's Arsenal, everyone loads in, and it was just another prime example on Sunday that everyone loaded in. But we'll talk about some fair props. Ian Wright, he come out, didn't he? That was brilliant.
He loves us. He loves us, doesn't he?
Yeah. What was your thoughts on that, Gona?
No, he's just wonderful. I mean, he can say anything terrible and make it sound good, bless him. But it's just brilliant to know that he's always got our back. You know, he just loves us as much as we love him, and it's just and he's so correct, though. He's just like you just don't ever, you're not allowed to be happy or enjoy yourself anymore. Everyone's so quick to criticise and just enjoy yourself. You get one life, just be happy, be free, enjoy the happiness. Why shouldn't we celebrate? Why shouldn't Arteta run round? I had a row with some little knobhead at work, Newcastle fan, out of the blue, all of a sudden they got money, 2-2, But he was like, I hate Mikel Arteta. I was like, why? Oh, he's always jumping around celebrating. What do you want him to do? You know what I mean? It's his job. We lose, he gets criticised. We win, he celebrates, he gets criticised. It's just...
If he sat in his hands... If he sat in his hands, it'd be called just like totally
boring.
Boring.
Why shouldn't he enjoy himself?
No.
It's such a high pressure, big, environment. So enjoy yourself, enjoy the joy. Why not? That's what football's all about. You want to win.
It was one of the comments I said like the other night was that we've been through hardship as fans, and that's not just us. That's fans all over the country, all over the world, in terms of what's kind of happened over the last 4 to 5 years. And when you kind of miss that for 12 to 18 months, and then you get back to it, you want to go and enjoy game in, game out, don't you? And if your team wins, you want to see passion. You want your managers to be passionate. You want your players to be passionate. You want your players to enjoy winning. Do you know what I mean? And I don't see nothing wrong with that. And it would have been the same if Liverpool won the game. It would have been the same if Man City had won the game. And they're at home. I expect them to go and celebrate that with their fans. But yeah, it is a shame to see that we've got pundits out there like this, and especially ones that are pretty high profile. They're obviously doing it for their own agenda, and I believe that whole agenda is because they now see us as a threat, and they basically just want to derail us as such. And it's the way Carragher and Neville have always worked, and they always will work, sadly. And unfortunately, I put Sky in that same tarnish.
I bet they'll all be there Sunday as well, all lined up waiting for us just to see if we slip up, and they'll be making little comments. We'll have their cameras out, guaranteed.
Fan TV, it's all about clickbait, isn't it? It's all these little ones that can sensationalise, and you know straight away it's going to generate loads of clicks and loads of kind of like interactions with it. And yeah, this is where it's kind of wrong. These kind of broadcasters and that they should be neutral. Going through the 80s and the 80s, I would say, and then before Sky and the Premier League, when you had it on telly, it was pretty much all neutral opinions, wasn't it? Really, there weren't really a huge amount of gushing over one club and everything like that. You had, it's one of those, and it's just horrible. I hate just listening to commentators now. Certainly.
It was quite interesting as well, Bray, when I watched the game back again, and then after the game, like for the first 15, 20 minutes after the game, it was all about Liverpool. And I was sitting there thinking, well, wait a minute, Arsenal just won the game at home. They're at home, they won the game, but it's all about Liverpool. And the actual presenter actually said, don't worry, Arsenal fans, we will get on to you soon. And you're like, like, you talk about the winning team first, and then you evaluate the sort of losing team after. And
but look, we weren't favourites for the game going through the build up of the game. Everyone was like literally like Liverpool going to win this, blah blah blah. Liverpool going to do it, Arsenal aren't. Yeah, they're not going to do it. The only ones that had us favourites or more favourable were the bookies. That's it. But everyone else was just going on about just like Liverpool all the time. And
it's like before the game started, the commentator was like, "Oh, this is the first stop on Klopp's leaving tour." Do you know what I mean? All about them. It's just no, mate. We put a stop to that.
Well, we put Tipek's teeth in the right road to crapness.
Yep.
on a good note, that he's ended on a bad note with us. So his last experience of the Emirates was a loss. So very nice to see. Right. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Let's look at West Ham on Sunday. 2:00 kickoff at the London Stadium. This is a massive game as well because I feel that there's no point going out and beating Liverpool last week if we're going to go and basically flop over on West Ham. Now, we've had a bit of a tricky ride with West Ham over the last 3 matches, unfortunately. 2-0 up last year, quite comfortably. 2-2 West Ham, which obviously started to derail our title charge. Lost 2 in the Carabao Cup, which, to be fair, I don't think our players were really up for that night, but still wasn't a nice experience. I know Jonezy was at the game that day.
One of the worst nights of my life, and I've been with a few bad girls.
That was getting into the stadium.
They enjoyed themselves,
Absolute garbage.
It was terrible.
And then obviously we won't even talk about the December the 28th because obviously, that was a bad night as well. So there's a good reason for me to think that the team have got a big motive to go out there on Sunday. I think obviously Declan Rice 100% is not wanting to go back there again after the last 2 games and be mugged off. I think the team obviously need to prove a point against West Ham, and I think it's a great time for us to do it after Liverpool victory, personally. So, going to go over to you first, Cole, on this one. What's your thoughts on Sunday in terms of going into the game, and what do we need to do to ensure that we come back 3 points?
Well, we just need to play our own game, really. If we play like we did against Liverpool, it'll be quite, I think, a convincing win. The only problem I have is West Ham are going to be well up for it because obviously, as you've just mentioned, with those previous games, they've got a number on us at the moment. So they're going to be. I know they obviously got beat quite convincingly against United, but they're going to be looking to bounce back at home with their Karl behind them. It's going to be a difficult game. These London derbies are never easy, no matter what team it is. Apart from obviously the Palace one was a pretty standard one, but it's usually very, very tough. But we just need to dictate that play again. I don't think he'll change the lineup. I think just go again with the same lineup, and then just try and play our own game, dictate the play, and we should be fine.
Over to you, John. Would you make any changes to Sunday, or would you stick with the same 11?
I would stick with the same team. I would. I think that would make sense to me. But I reckon J2 probably will come back in. But yeah, I don't know. There's no need to change it. Obviously, they were defensively strong. They got Bowen and Kudus. That's it. Paqueta's still out, I believe, which is good news. And get them Rice for the winner. So yeah, that's all good.
Bray, over to you. Going into this game, as we said, obviously we've had some bad results and all that. Are there any West Ham threats that worry you on Sunday that you think that could exploit us?
I don't know. I'm looking. Of course, they've got the threat from set pieces. That's my concern. That's always a concern with us. We know we can control games, but there's always that little ricket sometimes. And I know we're pretty decent defending set pieces, and we've had a good record, but we've always got that kind of like moment where we can just be total opposite, the total polar of doing it. And just like that West Ham game at home, concede that header for the second goal, and you have to guard about those. And it was the same with the FA Cup game, wasn't it, with Liverpool? We were giving them set pieces in around the box. Don't do it with players like Ward-Prowse, and you know what I mean. Liverpool were in Trent Arnold, and just you know what I mean. Just there's got to be a little bit of care in how we deal with kind of like trying to win the ball back around the box, because really, really important. But I don't know. I'll look at Kufau. I think Kufau was quite a threat for them, and he always seemed to put in some good, strong performances. But he got sold, didn't he, in the window? So
Where did he go?
I don't know who he went to, but I'm pretty certain they sold him.
The little Czech fullback fella.
Yeah. I thought they sold him, and they've sold. I remember my West Ham mates said they sold someone else in midfield as well.
Because Ben Rama didn't go, did he?
Ben Rama, no, he did, because they had both of them went. They tried to delay the paperwork.
Yeah, 4 hours went. That's right.
They went to UEFA, and UEFA ratified it, so they both went. So it's left them short, I would say, because I thought Ben Rama was another one which, obviously missed the penalty at the Emirates, didn't he? But again, it's another threat. But then you suddenly look at, they are short in probably those kind of areas. But look, we've got to go there. We've got to go and win, haven't we? And we've got to put in that performance. Forget what they've got. We have to basically show up. We've got to put in the tempo. We've got to put in the whole way of playing, and we've got to go and show it. I said we owe them one now.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's got to be literally. If you talk of like Arteta's pre-match antics where he obviously does stuff on the old whiteboard, then there's going to be a massive kind of drawing with probably a big cock on there, and then West Ham or something like that, and then just suddenly just like you got to go and stick it to them, and just literally just go and you got to smash them, and you've got to play with your head, but do things in the right way. So all down to us all day long. At the end of the day, and we've got to play with maturity, and we've got to play without losing our heads, and then we'll get the result.
Yeah, just get the job done.
Just some more good evenings. Good evenings, Mr. Bungle. Glad to see you found your way to this channel, mate. How you doing? Good evening to Mr. CM War Games as well, and good evening to Mr. Sullivan. How you doing, George? Just going to go. Obviously, some really kind of good points there. In terms of obviously West Ham, Bray. I'm just going to go to Jonezy with this. Obviously, I've got a few West Ham mates, and they're quite disgruntled in terms of obviously they feel that they've sold two of their attacking midfielders in terms of Ben Rama and Fornals, and really only replaced with essential players. Do you see West Ham offering a massive threat on Sunday? If we nullify Kudos, for me, I think we kind of nullify a lot of their kind of attacking.
Yeah, I think I agree with most of you guys. It's just I think it's a case of managing the emotions after Liverpool's the win. They're going to be on such a high. It's just I don't want us to go into Sunday thinking we beat Liverpool and we're going to be up for this to beat West Ham. But yeah, Kudos is a big problem. He worries me over on that wing with Zinchenko. That's the only thing. Zinchenko can be quite defensively switching off at times, and I think Kudos is pretty on it. Whose dog's that?
That's my dog's here. Ellie's just come home from work.
Get them on. What do they think of West Ham? Get them on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's Kudos for me and Bowen as well because he tends to drift out on the wing as well. I think they might try and target Zinchenko, with his defensive side. But yeah, the set pieces, Ward-Prowse is dangerous. But I think we've got enough. It's just managing their expectations. It's such a high. We need to go into the game calm and try and get that out of our head. That was done now. Let's crack on and beat these guys. And they've got to be up for it after the West Ham game just after Christmas. That was bad at home. That was very bad. And I think Declan Rice will want to prove a point. And I hope he's really up for it and scores the winner.
Yeah, we really need. I'm going to be honest with you. We really need to shut them up on Sunday.
Yeah,
we need to go and do the job. I think Declan needs to have a little word in a few ear rolls, but I think you shouldn't need him to do that. To be honest, I think we just need to first and foremost realise that we got a really good result at Liverpool, but we need to just be grounded, go back out there and play our game. And I think if we do play our game to the level we can do, that we have done over the last couple of games, then I see no reason why we can't get a victory Sunday. I just think that we're going to need to be tactically astute the first 15-20 minutes. But I honestly think it'd be a bit like they're going to sit deep again for me. Like they're going to sit deep and then they're going to try and hit us on the counter attack, and they're going to use people like Kudos to do that. And I just think that with Bowen, you just don't want him having. He's like he reminds me a bit like obviously the way he plays. He reminds me of that player that if you give him a chance, he will score the goal. So for me, you just need to basically nullify him and not make sure he doesn't get a chance, because if he's the player who gets a chance, he's more likely to put it away than anyone else in their team. But yeah, I think we just got to be tactically astute. It may be that he might even go Tommy Asu if Tommy Asu's back. You never know, do you? He might sit there and think, do you know what, I'm going to sit this one where I want that left back to be just to defend, basically. So that is an option. It just depends how Tommy Asu's come back from obviously the Asia Cup, and is he fully fit and fully ready? I'm sure he is, because he's been playing football.
Yeah,
he'll be fit. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And hopefully that West Ham Central geezer will get some shit on Sunday. That'd be good to see as well. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting one, definitely. Just looking ahead to a couple of the other games that we've got coming up. Burnley, Newcastle and Sheffield United, Bray. You would like to think, like, if we can get this result at West Ham, we put ourselves in a really good situation, don't we, to kind of push on then. And I know they're away games, Burnley and Sheffield United, but we've got to be frankly honest. If we don't go away and win them games, we don't deserve to be in a title race. And I fully expect us to go to them grounds and do the job.
Yeah, look, we said it before Forest, didn't we? And it was, you look at this run, we get 3 points against Liverpool, which again obviously wasn't a given. You follow into these two, West Ham and Burnley. 2 away games. If you think you get two wins away from home, then you go into Porto away thinking we're in a very good position there. 5 wins, isn't it? That'd be 5 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 wins. And yeah, it's a big ask on Sunday. There's got to be a huge performance. And I think Burnley will take care of itself. But again, we have to step up. We've got to do it. And I say it will lead nicely into the Champions League. And maybe a release from the team as well, just to kind of relax again, ready for that big Newcastle game. And that is going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. That's going to be a huge, huge game. And I think that will take off more than I think Liverpool. Just being the time, 8 o'clock on a Saturday, and you're
Never be hammered.
Hungry fucked.
Liam will be in the pub from 9 o'clock in the morning. It's like, but it's like
not fiction.
No, it'll be ridiculous. It'll be an unbelievable atmosphere. Let's hope that Newcastle don't stink out the stadium like they did last year. For that was last year 0-0.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't, or they can, as long as we make sure we score early, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
Didn't get to create chances, and then just obviously the longer the game went, it just played into their hands. So get a result, then that's another 3 wins, and you're suddenly thinking, blimey, it could be a good time, because you then follow up with Sheffield United away again, and then Brentford. So
What I like about all these games, right, that we've got coming up in it, there's a little bit of needle in a lot of these games. So like West Ham, there's definitely a little bit of needle because what's happened over the last couple of games. Obviously, Burnley, there isn't. But then you go, even the Porto games, I believe there's needle in there because of what happened with Sporting Lisbon last year. That should kind of set us up well in terms of we can't let that happen again, because I felt when we went away to Sporting Lisbon last year, we should have comfortably won that game. We dictated that game for large parts and we just caught out defensively at times. So I believe there's a wrong to be made right there. And then you look at the Newcastle game. Well, let's be honest. After what happened at St James's Park this year, if we're not up for it as fans, and the players ain't up for it, then we'll never be up for it. And I think we're gonna take it to them on that game. I honestly do. I think we'll take it to them, and I think that will be like our gravy brow. I think that time kickoff, it might actually work in our favour, surprisingly. It might actually work in our favour, that being that time. And hopefully we can put in a massive, massive performance there. And that's probably the game, isn't it? You probably look at that, the West Ham and Newcastle game. If you can get the 3 points out of them both games, you're setting yourself up into a nice situation. And just looking, interestingly, and I've like Man City's fixtures going into March, they're quite interesting. So Man City Man City got United, they got Liverpool away, they then got Brighton away, and then they got Arsenal at home and Aston Villa at home.
Wow.
So then
That's
you look at
the thing is with this year, you look at it and you just think there's so many teams that I think are taking points off each other now. You couldn't compare to you can't compare last season's performances to this year because it's so much more competitive and everyone is taking more points off each other. Whereas last season it wasn't really happening, was it? It was like literally it was Arsenal, Man City, and there was no one around. No one really was actually laying a glove on anyone. So it was just down to us, weren't it? There was nothing. There was no kind of glimmers of hope whatsoever. So this year, that's the only thing you can kind of look at. Man City could drop points. Tottenham could drop points. Whatever. We could drop points just from any kind of game. You know what I mean? It's a real competitive season. And these fixtures, like I said, I think I said last week, every single month we've got some rubbish away fixture or a real tough one where we're suddenly just like thinking, oh God.
Well, you
always look at it, don't you? You always look at that and you think, oh, March, oh yeah, we got this. It's like, then it's like April, oh, we got this. It's like, then we got, May, we've got.
Yeah.
You look at Old Trafford, second from last game of the season. It's it's constant.
Like you look at the 4 big away games that we've had, that we've got still to come up, and like you said, you've got Manchester United away, Manchester City, Tottenham.
Yeah.
And I'd probably still put Brighton in that list because I think it's a hard. I think it is a hard game for people to go to. And we know what Brighton can do at home. And I think you look at their games and you think they're the games that obviously are going to probably determine the season. And I think it's good news for us. And I'm not going to get on the roll again because I'll get Johnny Brooks about nibbling. But like we've got obviously Timber and potentially Partey still to come back. I'm quite glad that we haven't got them games till back end of March into April. We're late April because then hopefully if we can get these guys back and get them fit, I think if we got Timber and Partey back fit and just say we did get them back fit, they both would play. They both would start in their positions. I fancy us to go anywhere with them two in the team. Honestly, I'd fancy us to go anywhere to go and give these teams an absolute great game away from home. So hopefully that's potentially maybe in the back of the mind of obviously the coaches as well. Like, can't rush people back too soon. We need to look at the back April, May time. And last year we come a cropper in April, May time, and it's again one of those little wrongs to make right in it. And hopefully we can do that. But should be an interesting time. Any other thoughts around that, Karl? For you?
We need to put a run together, didn't we? That Man City do it every year, and that's why they win the title. Because of that run, and they do a 10-game unbeaten run, they win all them games, and that's what eventually leads them on to winning that league. And it's exactly what they did last year. They were phenomenal in the run up. Although we weren't great, it would have still been tough to keep up with them even after their 10-game unbeaten. That winning run. It's just our consistency, isn't it? Like, we'd go and beat Liverpool and then we'd probably go and drop points against West Ham knowing what we're like. So if we can go to West Ham and win, it really does set us up nicely with the games coming. And as you say, the Newcastle game, that atmosphere it'll be electric. Because we got a little bit of beef with them now with what happened up at St James's Park and all the shit that their fans were giving us over Twitter and all like the pundits as well. That's going to be a big game for us and we have to get 3 points in that. You have to win your home games, and then going away to the likes of Burnley, Sheffield United, as you said, Liam. If you don't win them, you don't deserve to be in the title race anyway. But yeah, it's really key to put a run together because I think we'll blow Liverpool away if we put a run together. I don't think they'll last. And then I don't know. Obviously, they got the Klopp factor now, haven't they? And all the media are jumping on that and wanting them to win just because they fancy Klopp. But I think it's going to end up maybe. Obviously, City are going to be there and probably us. I think Liverpool might drop off, especially the further they go in that Europa, because it's not a nice competition, that Europa. It's not. We've come a cropper so many times with that Thursday night football, Sunday afternoon. It's not nice. It's not a nice time.
It was interesting. Thiago come back, didn't he? Come on, didn't he? And he pulled his hamstring again.
Has he?
Some muscle injury.
He's out. Yeah,
just come back.
He's played his last game.
So that could play because he's a big player for him. Certainly would dictate.
Well, they said that potentially he's played his last game for Liverpool.
That's a shit holding.
He's been a fanny signing.
Yeah,
but they'll be so desperate to win a trophy for Klopp. That's the thing. They may well concentrate on the cups because they'll be so desperate to, leave him on a high, and they may well go for the Europa League. It's still a European competition.
And over to you, Jonesy, on that. Obviously, quite a lot to digest there. So, what's your kind of thoughts going into the back end of the season?
Yeah, I just agree with the rest of the guys. A run is what we need. We don't seem to do it, and eventually that's what wins you league titles. And putting these teams away, and comfortably. For me, I agree with Karl. I think Liverpool will drop away. I think that Europa League will definitely hurt them. They got some of their Sunday games they got after a Europa League game is tough. And I think I'm one of these people that think the Klopp factor is actually a negative for them. As well as Van Dijk has come out and said, he doesn't know if he's going to be here next year as well. So I don't think all the added pressure, do it for Klopp might be a hindrance.
It's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
And they'll drop away. It will go down to us and City. Do I think we can do it? My heart says yes, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, but my head, I can't see City, not winning another league title, but I hope to be proven wrong.
No league teams won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's tough.
So let's just every game I'm trying to take it bit by bit. I try not to look too much forward because I still hurt from last year. But yeah, I hope and pray that I can be literally naked around that Emirates come the end of May.
I'll be there chasing.
We'll both be chasing Karl, mate.
We'll do a naked conga.
Certainly don't try and hug me.
Don't worry, mate.
I'll be doing more than that.
I'll run very slow.
I'll tell you what is kind of interesting, chaps, going over to Brooksea. Just had a quick review of our games. And obviously, we've discussed up to Sheffield United. But then we played Brentford and then the second leg of the Porto game. Now, what's interesting after that is, and this could be quite key for us, if I'm being totally honest, massively key. I'm not using it for the pregnancy point, Cole. I will put it out there straight away. I actually think the Chelsea game getting called off might not be as bad as we think. Now, the likelihood is at the moment the Chelsea game will get called off.
If they because of the FA Cup.
Yeah, if choose the FA Cup. Now, if that gets called off, that's on the 16th of March. We have not got another game then. We missed, basically, after the 12th of March, Porto, we then basically missed 2 weeks of football. And then our next game out from the 12th of March would be the 31st of March, which would be Man City away.
Wow.
Surely you'd be wrapping a certain few players up in cotton wool.
Oh, yes, because Man City will have a cup game if they're still in it, which they should be because they got looted away. And they'd have a Champions League game as well.
So that would be a nice little period, wouldn't it, for just the players to kind of recuperate. I know there's I know there'd be an international week in there, which is obviously a bit unfortunate. Yeah. But you look at that and you sit there and think that might be a key period in terms of the two big players that we've been talking about, the likes of them maybe potentially coming back around that time, which could kind of.
Arteta and Edu need to be cute and pull people out of international. They've got to think of the bigger picture. Everyone else does it, no one says anything, and everyone will be all over it and crying about it, which will make it even better. But you've got to play the game. If we still want an unbeaten run, you can't jeopardise anything.
No, definitely not. So that is quite interesting. So we'll see how that one kind of goes with the Chelsea Cup game. Obviously going to wrap up the show. In a sec, just going to go around and do my usual score predictions for Sunday. So I'm going to go to you first, Bray. What's your score prediction going to be?
I think it's going to be 2-1.
2.
To Arsenal.
Yeah, boy. Very controversial.
Yeah. Good man. Yourself, Cole?
I'm for another 3-1. Arsenal.
Yeah, I've gone the same Karl, 3-1.
I'll go 5-2 Arsenal. Why not? We'll give them a pasting. We own one.
I'm going to go for us to keep a clean sheet. I think it's about time we keep a clean sheet, and I want a clean sheet. And I think if it weren't for a silly mistake on Sunday, we'd have got a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal. 2-0 Arsenal. I'm going to go. That's what I'm going to go for. And I'm going to go for. I've got a feeling a centre back's going to score again.
I think Rice is scoring.
Oh, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? That'd be absolutely.
He's going to pick a 25-yarder, mate. I tell you.
That would be the icing on the cake.
That's not a penalty. Don't take a penalty. Oh, can you imagine that?
He's going to pick one in.
Picks up the ball for a penalty and then just goes and misses it. Oh, it's like,
he's going to smash one in for the volley. He's doing it.
Yeah.
Top goal.
Yeah, volley, 25-yard volley.
And then ran round kissing the Arsenal badge.
Throw the bubble machine as well.
Yeah.
Kick it. Click the bubble machine and that's it. And then just kiss the Arsenal badge. Done.
Good stuff. Obviously, I just want to thank you, chaps, for coming on tonight. Thank you very much for obviously spending some time out on your Thursday evenings. So thank you. And I just want to thank everyone else, obviously, for coming in from the chat. It's good to see a lot of faces in there tonight. So thank you very much. Just going to go over to you very quickly. You got a show lined up for Sunday after the game?
Yeah. We will be doing it. Yeah, 7:30, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
7:30 on Sunday. So yeah, anyone wants to come along, join in. It's going to be a hot talking spot anyway, isn't it? Either way, whatever happens, it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we're in the positive mindset after that game. So yeah, see you on Sunday.
Cool, good man. And obviously for myself, obviously we'll be back next Thursday, where we will be reviewing obviously the outcome of the West Ham game, and we'll be looking ahead to Burnley on Saturday at 3 p.m. The kickoff is, and then we'll be looking even more ahead to Champions League kicking off with Porto away. So a lot to look forward to. But obviously, thank you very much, everyone, and I hope you all have a good evening. Good night.